A very good evening to you and welcome to CoreTV News under R. I am Nena Nyama. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed authorities to tighten security measures in all camps harboring internally displaced persons, IDPs, to guard against a recurrence of the explosion which occurred in Yola, Adamawa State on Friday. He described the bombing, which killed at least 3 persons, as heinous and cowardly, adding that the terrorists were bent on causing fear and panic among the populace. The president, however, urged Nigerians not to be deterred, but rise in unison to root out whatever is left of the terrorists in the country. President Muhammadu Buhari has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to combat insecurity without violating the rule of law. Senior Special Assistant Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, in a statement disclosed that the President, while addressing officers, troops and newly commissioned cadets at the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna, says he would not condone the violation of human rights in the current war against insurgents. He applauded the integrity and recent record of the armed forces as an institution, encouraging them not to relent on their activities. President Buhari stressed that security remains the most important challenge in his administration's change program and that the nation expects exemplary conduct and professionalism from officers and men of his armed forces. He also assured the armed forces of his administration's determination to provide the platforms and all equipment required in winning the war against terrorism within the specified deadline. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has expressed sadness at the bombing of the Yola IDP camp, in which several lives were lost and many persons maimed. In a press statement released by his media office in Abuja on Friday, the former Vice President said the bombing could only have been planned and executed by persons with hearts of evil. Atiku said it was pathetic that the bombers targeted thousands of vulnerable people, mainly from Borno and Yobe states, who were seeking refuge in the camp. He, however, expressed a conviction that Nigeria will win the war against terrorism in spite of such acts. The federal government has ruled out the possibility of shifting the deadline for all ministries, departments and agencies to comply with the presidential directive on Treasury single accounts. In a statement issued by the Deputy Director of Press at the office of the Accountant General of the Federation in Abuja on Friday, the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, said that Tuesday, September 15, deadline is realistic, achievable and not subject to postponement. According to him, all MDAs should close all accounts with the commercial banks on or before the deadline. Idris said implementation guidelines had been developed and will soon be made available to all interested parties and the general public. The Northern Governors Forum wants Nigerians to be united against injustice and corruption in the country. Borno Governor Kashim Shettima said this at a news conference preceding the governors' meeting in Kaduna. The governor, who spoke in his capacity as chairman of the forum, lamented that Nigeria is now seen as a country where corruption, unemployment and insurgency thrive.
I can see the signs of sincere effort and genuine optimism to draw strength in our diversity and change the narrative of our troubled history in the interest of our region's history and indeed the rest of Nigeria. As leaders of our people at this crucial epoch of our history, and democratically elected ones at that, we are left with no choice but to rise up to the occasion and live up to the people's perfectly understandable expectations. We must seize this moment, for history is beckoning at us.
Now to Ekiti State, the anti-corruption rally held nationwide by organized labor unions also battered in Ekiti State, but not without some drama. The Ekiti State Governor Yodele Fayose passed the rally as a jamboree while accusing labor leaders of conniving with the political class to loot the nation. The labor rally, however, passed the message of reduction in the cost of governance and politicians should shun corrupt practices. Rashid has more.
We are aligning with the position of the federal government. Yeah. The problem of Nigeria is not the problem of policy implementation. It's the problem of corruption.
The rally, like others across the country, is to send anti-corruption message to Nigerians, says the fight against corruption is a focal point of the Muhammadu Buhari administration. The Ekiti State Organized Labour took the rally to major streets in Ado Ekiti with various placards before terminating at the governor's office with a message for the political class.
This action has become necessary to bring to the fore the urgent need for the national discourse to drastically reduce the cost of governance.
But to the governor Yodele Fayose, the rally is just like a jamboree while taking a swipe at the anti-corruption style of the Buhari administration.
This rally is mere propaganda and jamboree. You know, if a leader is leading a country to fight corruption, he must start from his own base. He must start from his own aides of the president, aides of the governor. They must start from their party.
However, the union leadership says the anti-corruption drive by the labor union is a non-stop activity.
The trade union centers in Nigeria, they are bringing a kind of initiative to erode out of the system corruption.
With the labor unions and the federal government on the same page to fighting corruption, observers say this may be a clash between the politicians and the nation's bureaucrats. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Governor of Plateau State Simon Lalong has blamed the anti-graft agencies for the delay his administration is experiencing in his attempt to recover the past administration's loots. Lalong, who was speaking in Rayfield, Jos, stated that although the state government has presented compelling evidence of stolen monies belonging to the state, he wonders why the Economic and Financial Crime Commission is taking so long in recovering them. This report is presented from our studio.
Simon Lalong, who had earlier given 2 weeks ultimatum last month to alleged looters from the past administration of Jonah Jang to return their booty or face the wrath of his administration, has now blamed the EFCC for not assisting the state enough to recover its loot. He called on the anti-graft agency to, as a matter of urgency, swing into action and apprehend those that have been reported to it.
The Deputy Governor made reference to it in his transition report. But for that, we have written to EFCC clearly with evidence, and we've asked them to investigate. Maybe the delay now is from EFCC. If they delay this week, I'm going to remind them that we cannot continue to have a delay. It's not the normal EFCC. Because with clear evidence, they would have gone in. EFCC had the cause to arrest some of us when there were no evidence.
The SAT administrator lamented that the names of those involved in looting the state treasury have been submitted with evidences to the anti-graft body and hoped that they would do the needful soon in assisting the state to recover its stolen wealth.
In a circumstance where a federal allocation came for local government for 2 months, and that salary, those salaries just got missing. Is that not naked stealing? How can salary get missing? The salaries were meant to be taken to local government. At the level of local government, if they were missing at the local government, we will understand. But from the state, 2 months' salaries belonging to local governments were missing in the bank.
Lalong added that salaries and civil servants' welfare have become difficult due to the loot, and that the children of workers are finding it difficult to access good schools and medical provision.
We'll take a break now. We'll return with more stories. Just stay with us.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
Be careful about what you say
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Please for Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday 1:30 p.m.
If you just joined us, still watching CoreTV News under hour. For more of our news stories and more information, you can join us on our social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News, and on our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV Liverspace News. In a bid to improve medium-scale businesses and the economy of the state, Ekiti State Government has signed a memorandum of understanding with an indigenous company for the supply of megawatts of alternative power source. This development is set to improve medium and small-scale businesses in the state and as part of efforts to boost the economy. Rashid has the details.
The epileptic power supply being experienced in different parts of the country has resulted to closure of many businesses, while those who are still in business run it at a very high cost. Recently, there has been improved power supply in some parts of the country, but this seems not to be the case in Ekiti State. It is on this premise that the state government signed a memorandum of understanding with an indigenous firm for the provision of an alternative power source to the tune of 1.15 megawatts within a period of 20 years. A representative of the state government described the partnership as timely.
We want to plead with you that you complete this project in record time. We are happy that you are giving us a 20-year period of initial commitment. We are excited about it.
The technical director of the project, Tassos Zazali, appreciates the state government's gesture towards ensuring an enabling environment for the project in Ekiti State.
The 1 megawatt will be powered the Benin distribution company net, and all the people that need near this area the power, they will get it.
The state is giving 15,000 square meters of land here.
1 megawatts of the generated power will be used for public consumption, while 150 kilowatts will be dedicated to the state's broadcasting station. With the latest development, Ekiti residents eagerly await a new dawn and an end to persistent darkness. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
And now to Imo State, the state government has banned trailers from operating within its cities between the hour of 6 in the morning and 7 in the evening. In a statement on Friday, the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Sam Owunumedo, disclosed that this action is born out of the desire to protect the lives and property of the people. Owunumedo further pointed out that this is also a bid to check the recent disasters caused by long vehicles in many states across the country. The Nigerian Air Force has been rotating members of its ground forces fighting alongside the troops of the Nigerian Army at the front line in the past 6 months. Spokesman for the Air Force, Dele Alonge, said in a statement that the latest troop rotation is in line with the usual practice. He explained that it was aimed at reinvigorating the minds of the personnel and the commitment to the ongoing fight against the Boko Haram terrorists. The Air Force spokesman also stated that the subsisting troops have been airlifted from the theater of operation to the various units. The police in the Federal Capital Territory have arrested 9 robbery suspects who had been disguising as cab operators to rob unsuspecting passengers of their valuables in the FCT and its environs. Police spokesman Anjuguri Manze disclosed this in a statement issued in Abuja on Friday. The police said the arrest was as a result of the renewed efforts of the command to rid the territory of hoodlums. He added that the FCT police have also busted a notorious armed robbery syndicate and recovered arms and ammunition from them. The police spokesman revealed that the suspects were arrested after a gun battle in the Lugbe area. Immediate past Governor of Lagos State Babatunde Fashola draws the attention of members of the public to the antics of hackers who compromised his Twitter account at Tunde Fashola and posted 4 tweets in a language that resembled Japanese. Former Governor Fashola's special advisor on media, Hakeem Bello, said the act might have been carried on Friday owing to the calls gotten in the early hours of Saturday on the strange tweets. Bello added that the former governor recently disassociated himself from a Facebook scam whereby some persons used his photographs and ascribed fictitious statements to him on fake Facebook accounts aimed at defrauding his principals and person. He stressed that the call became necessary for the aptant time in view of the activities of scammers who have been issuing out series of Facebook comments and information in his name with the intention of duping unsuspecting members of the public, while advising members of the public to always clarify with the appropriate agencies of government at all levels before engaging in any dealings with people purportedly working for them. The media advisor to the former governor of Lagos State urged citizens to report to the law enforcement agencies so that those involved in the nefarious act will be made to face the wrath of the law. Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom is seeking federal government intervention towards improving the standard of education, especially at the tertiary level in the state. He was speaking during a courtesy visit to the Executive Secretary, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Suleiman Bogoro in Abuja. The governor also assured TED Fund officials that any funds made available will be well utilized.
While appreciating and thanking you for all that you have done, we still want you to continue to support us so that the impact will be felt more.
I was not surprised. His Excellency said whatever is possible that we can do to support the strong agricultural foundation in Yande from TED Fund, we'll be glad to do so. They have a College of Agric. Unfortunately, it is a monotechnic. We cannot, by law, intervene or support the College of Agric there. But if either the Federal University of Agric has special relationships and particularly research collaboration with Yandev, the College of Agric, or anything in Yandev, we can legitimately put money there from TED Fund.
The popular Poly-Yagba Road that serves as a major route used by residents and students in Imo State to access the Federal Polytechnic Nekedi and Federal University of Technology is now a dead end to motorists. Our correspondent Ajibade Awofeso, who has been monitoring the way at which the road is deteriorating, files in this reports.
The popular Poly-Yagba Road that serves as a major route used by residents and students in the state to access the Federal Polytechnic Nekedi and Federal University of Technology is now a dead end to motorists. The people of Nekedi for some time now have been lamenting over bad roads. Survey within the community shows that not even one road is good within it. According to the people, they wondered if they are part of the state or not.
It's a disgrace. It's a shame. Okay. It's a shame. Why I say it's a shame is this: we voted a group of people into power. Yes. And it's a disgrace that we are swimming on pool to go wherever we are going. Some days ago, some people are going to Tokyo for something industry. You will be allowed to go to Tokyo. You will be allowed to live, to go and learn what you are going to bring back. Nobody can pass road.
Yeah, we have 2 federal universities here. This is Futo, this is Nekede Poly. These 2 schools now will attract investors, businessmen to come and invest. We have empty land, we have things that will make business grow here. So because of these roads, if you call someone to come and invest or do some business here, they will tell you that naked Iyagba road, there's no road there. They don't want a situation whereby their motor will spoil or something like that.
Some of them seems not happy with the governor's gesture towards the road. They said it appears their own votes has turned against them.
You don't need to be told what to be done, for Christ's sake. A governor knows his people is traveling left and right. A governor knows there's a road called Futo Road or Poli Road. If he doesn't come this way, his assistants, his people, commissioners, although we don't have commissioners, we don't have anybody, only governor. He's the commissioner, he's the local government chairman, he's the TC chairman, he is everything. He should know that people are suffering. People are dying. If you put your car on the road, go and come, you lose your car. Tomorrow you are standing for Keke, you enter Keke, they rob you inside the Keke. You enter Okada, they rob you inside Okada. What are we for? Democracy or something else? We are dying, people are dying.
Effort made to get the government view proves abortive, as none wish to talk on it. With refuge blocking and obstructing the waterways, the road conditions certainly will continue to degenerate on a daily basis. Drastic measures is however required by the government to correct the wrong as soon as possible. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
And now to business. The Consumer Protection Council, CPC Nigeria, has launched an investigation into the high cost of electricity by distribution companies with a view to putting an end to high tariffs. At a meeting held in Abuja on Friday between the officials of the distribution companies and the CPC, the Director General of the Council, Mrs. Dukbe Atoki, said there is an increase in complaints by electricity consumers in the last few months, bordering on indiscriminate increase in electricity bills, non-supply of meters, and mass disconnections. Mrs. Atoki said the CPC would not hesitate to sanction distribution companies found guilty of the allegations brought against them. Do join us after this break for more stories.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back. The founder of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, TB Joshua, will today hold a memorial service in South Africa in honor of the 116 victims of September 12, 2014 building collapse at the church premises in the Ikotu area of Lagos. In a statement, the church said the memorial service is to commemorate the first anniversary of the incident, adding that TB Joshua has sent a delegation from Nigeria to take part in activities leading to the memorial. It will be recalled that TB Joshua had described the deceased as martyrs of faith, maintaining that they were on an appointment with God when they met their death, and therefore believes that they did not die in vain. Veteran left-winger Jeremy Corbyn has been elected leader of the UK's opposition Labour Party on Saturday after a contest that revealed deep divisions within the party's ranks. Corbyn, a socialist who ran on an anti-austerity platform, claimed victory in the first round of voting, taking 59.5% of the votes cast by more than half a million eligible Labour Party members and supporters. The contest was triggered by the resignation of former Labour leader Ed Miliband in May, following the Conservative Party's surprise outright win in the general election. At least 107 people have been killed and 238 persons injured after a crane toppled over at Mecca's Grand Mosque less than 2 weeks before Islam's annual Hajj pilgrimage. A spokesperson for the two holy mosques disclosed that the crane was brought down by strong wind and heavy rain. The Director General of the Civil Defense Authority, Suleiman Al-Amir, also disclosed that the dead and those injured have been taken to the hospital, adding that there are no casualties left at the location. And now to Egypt. The Egyptian army says an Egyptian woman, a child, and 4 soldiers have been killed in separate explosions in the northern Sinai Peninsula. In a statement, the military engaged in a campaign against armed groups in the area said a woman and child were killed in a car bomb in Rafah on the border with the Palestinian Gaza Strip. They also disclosed that the 4 soldiers were killed in a bomb attack during clashes with fighters. The military recently launched a major offensive against fighters affiliated to the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant ISIL group, which has seized control of chunks of Iraq and Syria. The army is struggling to contain an insurgency in the Sinai Peninsula that has killed hundreds of soldiers and policemen since 2013, when the army toppled Mohamed Morsi from the presidency. Turkey's government has lifted a curfew in the southeastern city of Cizre, the scene of heavy fighting between the army and fighters from the Kurdistan Workers' Party (PKK). In a statement, officials say the move followed a week-long curfew, during which 32 fighters were killed. The statement also disclosed that security forces carried out a successful operation against members of the separatist terror organization during the period. The operation against the PKK fighters, however, sparked concern for Cizre's inhabitants, as it had been difficult for them to get food items, seek urgent treatment, and bury their dead. And finally, in sports, Nigeria's international football team, the Super Eagles, will resume training at the end of September ahead of a series of friendlies in Europe, as well as a 2016 African Nations Championship qualifier against Burkina Faso. The team's officials said the players from the Nigerian league would form the preliminary squad, with the foreign-based stars to join in Europe. They also disclosed that the home-based Eagles will also welcome Burkina Faso in the 2016 Championship qualifier on October 16, with a return leg on October 23 in Ouagadougou. The overall winners of this tie will qualify for the African Nations Championship in Rwanda next year. And that's it on the news. Thanks so much for watching. I am Nana Nyama. Good evening.